This is Karina Dean, and I am back again with another video for Saturn Returners. And in this video, I will be discussing the Saturn Return to Sagittarius. This is an energy that is affecting a generation, and this generation was born around 1986 to 1988. What you can already understand about this transit is that this is about you and your peers and your generation, people that you went to school with. You all have had this energy. This energy represents your generation, and you are all going to be experiencing this shift within your life. So let's talk first about how long this transit will be going on. Saturn takes about roughly 2.5 years to complete its transit through a sign. So this will be from 2015 to around 2017, 2018. So this is a 2.5 year shift. So this is a very important time. It's all about maturation, and it's all about acquiring that wisdom. In order for you to acquire this wisdom, you are experiencing karma, and that is what Saturn is. It takes so long for its placement back into the place that you were born that it represents and truly is the symbol of time. And as much as we have different relationships when it comes to time, maybe we're too late, maybe we're always on time, maybe we're very early. But it's often a very fleeting thing when we think about time. But truly, time is what shapes. Time shapes form. As you grow older and mature, your age is shaping you. You are constantly becoming a newer person. You are constantly being molded as you continue to age. So truly, time does have a sense of accumulation, and this is what that idea of karma is, and this is what karma will represent through the actor that is Saturn. Very often during this time, you will have situations and people that will come up for you from your past that are putting you in a place for you to be the receiver of this karma. Truly, you are that. And this opportunity is now here for you so that you can work with this karma, so you can understand why it is coming back to you, and maybe create a newer cycle, a better way, so that you end this cycle of karma and create a better path, a better cycle for your life. Truly, we do work with time. We cannot eliminate time. We can only work side by side with it. And as you undergo your Saturn return, you will become even more familiar with this concept of time. The Saturn and Sagittarius generation is all about lessons. And yes, Saturn itself is a planet that represents these lessons. When we're mixing it with this Sagittarius energy, this is truly that lesson of the day in the classroom. This is about education. While we have pursued success, we may have been lacking in our education. We may have been lacking in our philosophies. We may have been lacking in that spirituality. The person who goes out and acquires different knowledge from different cultures and different groups of people, we may have been a little too tunnel vision about the success. So the Saturn in Sagittarius generation has some sort of relationship with that education, especially early on in life, where they always feel like they need more education, or they had some sort of experience in their life early on where education was seen as very high, a part of that hierarchy, and they struggled to get to that hierarchy. They weren't always seen as the smartest one, but they always saw a good education as something that they should be striving for. Whether they chose to or not depends on the person, but their relationship with higher learning has been kind of restricted from that. And so what they may have developed, what has mainly developed, I believe, with this generation, on an individual level, are concepts, blatant theories that an individual would abide by in order to survive into life. And this concept, this theory that they abide by, is just a little too short. It's a little too shallow. It's a little too one-sided. It's a little too tunnel vision. And what is required of the journey as Saturn comes back to its natal position is for you to expand this theory. It's for you to go out and research, go out and travel and explore cultures, different philosophies, different theories than your own, and enrich, really give a lot more girth to what it is that you see and believe in when it comes to survival, when it comes to knowledge and the philosophies of life, when it comes to applying these philosophies to your success. So there is a constant desire for success. There is need for expansion with this generation, but what we are seeing is dealing with that relationship in early childhood when it comes to how they understood education and how they learned, and whether due to the lack of learning or the constant need to be like the best in the class or to have the best grades, they have shaped their survival kit for themselves through one theory, and that theory they've hold on to, and they can just blanketly say, this is how I make my success, this is how I get what I want, this is how I make money, this is how I get a job, and it just may not always be the case. So looking at this time for you, Saturn in Sagittarius generation, this is about dissecting that survival mentality that you've had, this mentality that you have developed in order for you to achieve success. It's not about eliminating it, but it's about developing it. It's about adding more to it, going out and experiencing other ways to see things so that you can get what you want. And this is that energy of Saturn, the restrictor, with Jupiter, which rules over Sagittarius, the expansion. So we're feeling these very, very different energies come together, and they provide a very, very busy time. Very busy learning lessons, just very busy. So I think this will be a great transit because you will be busy and you understand what it means to constantly be working at getting what you want and getting that success. And you will be put into opportunities where you can finally get those lessons that you feel like you may have missed out on. And truly this generation values that higher education, It maybe even feels like I always have to go back to get more education. So you're dealing with these issues. Do you have to go back to get education? Do you need to enroll now in school? Or do you need to school yourself? Either way, you will be dealing with that education. You'll be dealing with the culture that you live in versus the culture of different cultures, and you will be exploring what is different about them, and through their ability to maintain success, how is it that you can take from these other cultures and inject them into your own, or inject them into your own lifestyle. So I do feel like this is a very different energy than the last Saturn return generation. This one actually is like, it's about time. It's about time that I had the opportunity to go back to school or to go out and travel and learn even more. It's about time that I got busy. And I do think that a Saturn return does require for you to have some isolation for yourself. You will feel isolated from others, but this energy is different than the last generation because this energy does require a lot more interaction and a lot more busyness, basically, a lot more opportunities coming, and you experiencing your lessons through these opportunities. So I'd love to do a few more videos for this generation, Saturn and Sagittarius, but I did want to just go ahead and start with this first video, giving you my concepts on the energies of Saturn and Sag. And we are looking at some very important transits and relationships that Saturn will be having with other planets from 2015 to 2017. So I'm hopeful to create another video to talk about these relationships and how important this will be as you undergo your Saturn return. If you have any questions or suggestions, please hit me up.